Welcome to r/entitled people, where we share stories from your lives about people who think the rules don't apply to them, and they should get what they want. Thank you, friends, for subscribing to the channel, and for so many likes. And today we have 3 great stories, so subscribe, hit the like button, and let's begin. The first story, Intruding Over the Line, the terrifying tale of my crazy neighbor. The second story, entitled Barista's Coffee Catastrophe, a tale of ignored requests and lactose intolerance. The third story, how I quit my job because of stress at work and what consequences it had on the company. The first story is, my neighbor is obsessed with the property line, always goes outside when I'm outside, never leaves the house to go anywhere, and has screamed at me on a few occasions. I'm a woman in my early 30s, living alone. My next door neighbor is also a woman in her early 30s, living alone. We live in a typical suburban neighborhood. Long story short, I noticed pretty early on that she's obsessed with her property lines, as I witnessed her yell at another neighbor about it roughly a month or so after she moved in. At that time, I thought to myself, okay, this woman is nuts, but she's not going to become my problem because I never go anywhere near the property line. Hell, I don't even spend time outside in my own backyard because I still have to build myself a patio. So I figured I'll just be friendly with her and she'll see how chill and easygoing I am, and we'll be cool with each other. Well, I was wrong. Come December, after our first big snowstorm, my plow truck driver plowed my driveway. She flipped out, telling me that some of the snow that was moved during the plow job had rolled over onto her property. Then she actually said, I'm gonna draw a line in the snow, and if anything goes over that line, we're gonna have a problem. After that, I tried to explain to her, in a stern but polite manner, that the snow was not on her land, and that I was on a work call. We both work from home. She reacted to that by marching over onto my property and screaming at me on my own front porch. She screamed in my face in a manner I had never seen before. She demanded that I take a walk with her to examine the snow, so that she could prove some of it was on her land. I was feeling pretty threatened at this point, so I said, I'm not walking anywhere with you. Then she screamed, then we're gonna have an effing problem. Do you understand me? I said nothing because I was in a state of complete shock. I just stared at her in amazement, and then she leaned in and screamed, do you effing understand me? So I slammed the door in her face and decided to avoid her at all costs from then on. In the days that followed, she proceeded to shovel her driveway and the sidewalk in front of her house, even on days when there was no snow left to shovel, screaming at me in my house the entire time she's shoveling. She can see me through my window, as the desk I work from faces the window. Come spring, I go for walks with my friends in the neighborhood when the weather is nice. She ran at us with a weed whacker as we passed in front of their house, screaming, you start your walks when you think I'm inside? You can't avoid me. I filed a police report after this incident. On her more calm days, when she's not doing one of those screaming episodes, she'll go outside whenever I go outside and pretend to work on a bush that's on our property line. I hired a landscaper to cut my grass because I don't feel comfortable in my own yard. She went outside on my landscaper's first day on the job and talked to him about me. Basically, I can't do anything at my house without her reacting to it or somehow finding a way to insert herself into the situation. She makes everything her business. On her best days, she's just behaving in a nosy, annoying manner, but on her worst days, she's screaming at me and making me feel threatened, as if I'm about to be physically attacked. Oh, and she also never leaves her house to go anywhere ever. She has her groceries and anything else she needs delivered to her house. She literally never gets into her car to drive anywhere. She's always home, waiting, watching. And before you say it, no, I'm not selling my house. I was here first, and I put so much money into renovating it to make it into my dream house. I refuse to be run out of my own neighborhood. Oh, and I'm getting a privacy fence put up next month. I don't really like the look of fences, but I don't think I'll be comfortable going into my own yard until I get one. Edit. I feel dumb that I didn't mention this earlier, but yes, I did have a few cameras installed around my house right after I moved in, before she moved in, given that I'm a single woman living alone. The front camera has actually caught all the incidents that happened in the front yard, including the December screaming incident and weed whacker incident, and I've been saving and documenting everything in case I need to show it to police later on. I recently bought a new camera that will specifically focus on the property line in the backyard, where the fence will go, and I'm getting sound installed as well. Unfortunately, everything that's been captured on my cameras so far doesn't have sound, which I'm kicking myself over. Update. I ended up getting the tallest privacy fence the city would let me have. I got one running along the entire side of the property line. It's true what they say, fences fix everything. It's been a year and I haven't had to deal with this woman since the fence went up, although now she's starting a similar war with the neighbor on the other side of her. It's very scary to read about how your neighbor's obsessive and violent behavior has been making your life miserable. That kind of hostility and fear should never happen to anyone, especially in their own home. It's not only unreasonable, but also very scary that your neighbor is so focused on property lines that they get angry about it. Installation of surveillance cameras and choice of privacy fence are admirable actions that you've taken to address the situation calmly and responsibly, ensuring your safety. It's terrible that you've had to go to these lengths, but nothing less than your security and happiness will do. It's great that you're determined to stand up for your right to feel safe in your own neighborhood. With these safety measures in place, you should be able to find the peace and safety you deserve. Remember that you're not alone in this, and if you need more help or support, don't be afraid to ask for it. The second story. Entitled Barista Refuses to Make Coffee Correctly. It was a coffee shop that was local to my hometown that my parents often visited. When my family and I were visiting during the Christmas holiday, my mother and I decided to ditch the kids and spouses and grab some coffee and a cookie at the coffee place. It wasn't busy, probably about 2 or 3 customers drinking their drinks, no one at the counter, quiet enough to listen to that sweet 80s music through the speakers. I believe that this was after the lunch rush, where the flow was at its lowest point. The barista looked cheerful but also tired as hell. Oddly enough, she was the only one out there. I suppose the rest of the staff must be either in the back or taking a break. After the usual greetings, she asked us what we wanted. I ordered some hot tea, but if she could drop some ice into it so I can drink it without hurting myself. My mom ordered a caramel-flavored coffee but with a splash of soy milk in it, and bought a wrapped sandwich for herself and me. Now the barista got my order right, no problem, but this is where she didn't make the coffee correctly. We could see the canisters that were marked with what kind of milk was in it, and she grabbed the one that had the stick on it whole milk. My mother is lactose intolerant, so that milk would made her ill. She called out to the barista and told her politely that she asked for soy. So the barista poured milk in it anyways, and was getting the caramel as my mom repeated herself. The barista came over with the drink, and seemed to finally hear what Mom said. She apologized but told Mom that it's okay. The milk would make it taste better anyways. Well, Mom didn't want to tell her that she was LI, so she said that she wanted soy, not whole milk. With a frozen smile, the barista dumped the coffee down the drain, got a fresh cup and started to remake the coffee, except she reached for the regular milk again. Mom spoke up a bit louder and told her that she doesn't want regular milk, she wants soy. The barista again didn't seem to hear her and poured the milk into the cup. She tried again to give my mom the wrong coffee. Mom gave the woman a firm look with a tone to match and told her that she requested soy, not regular milk. The barista tried to explain that it would taste better, but my mother pointed out that she doesn't care what the barista preferred, but it's something important to give the customer what they ask for. The barista doesn't say anything but dumps the coffee and tried to reuse the cup to pour coffee in. To which Mom said rather loudly, "I'm lactose intolerant. That's why I cannot have milk, even a drop of it, because it makes me sick." That got the attention of another staff member, a nice woman, and she told the barista to take a break. She remade the coffee and my mom asked to speak to the manager. Well, this woman was the assistant manager in charge, so Mom told her about what the woman tried to pour into her drink. The AM offered Mom a refund, but Mom just wanted her coffee drink made the correct way. We both watched as the AM made Mom the coffee she wanted in a fresh cup. But Mom still wanted it written down that she complained about how the barista ignored her and tried to get her to drink regular milk. Well, we were going to stay, but we decided to leave instead. It wasn't until earlier today when I was speaking to my mom about what happened to that barista. She told me that the woman still worked there, but she had a firm talking to about what happened. Still, Mom does her best now to go to that shop only if the woman wasn't working there. It was dangerous and unprofessional of the barista to act in that way. No one working in customer service has the right to ignore a client's dietary restrictions, particularly when those restrictions are as severe as a lactose intolerance. It's completely disrespectful of the barista that she continues to use whole milk, even though she's been told multiple times that skim is better. It's unfortunate that your mother had to be so persistent to make sure her order was fulfilled correctly, but she displayed extraordinary patience and assertiveness throughout the ordeal. It's revolting and demonstrates a disregard for fundamental hygiene standards that the barista tried to reuse the cup after realizing the error. It's concerning that the barista is still employed there despite her behavior, although it is encouraging that management took action to address the issue. Incidents like these can severely damage the confidence that customers should have in a company when they shop there. The third story is the toll of overwork. I hadn't slept more than 3 hours a night in 6 months. I was working 7 days a week. In the office 5 to 6, the rest from home, 24-hour on call. I was department head for a QSR, think fast food software and hardware company. POS support. My normal schedule was to wake up at 2:30 a.m., work on remote software updates for clients until 4 a.m., say good morning to my wife and hang for half an hour, go back to work until 5:30 a.m., shower up and put on a full suit and tie, get to work about 7 a.m., 2 hours before my shift officially started, work more problems remotely until 9 a.m., get my team humming, start making BS Gantt diagrams and detailed metrics for the bosses. I had 3 C-level bosses plus 2 VPs. It was straight up Office Space SH. They didn't know how to read Gantt diagrams and metrics, but they were required. By 11 a.m., lunch rush hits at our clients' restaurants and we're all in the trenches solving tech support and menu issues, KDS problems, build to prep to drop chart stuff until about 3 p.m. Back to more ridiculous management reporting until about 6 p.m., at which time we had our scrum session where I would tell them that I need to hire more techs and they would tell me no. Then I'd work until about 7:30 p.m., go home, eat some dinner, then work with development over the phone on issues that had to be done after hours until about 11:30 p.m. or midnight. Throughout the whole time from about 7 a.m. to midnight, my phone would not stop ringing, so I could never focus on anything properly. My only functional time to get proper work done was from 2:30 a.m. to 5:30 a.m. Repeat ad infinitum. One day, after 6 months of this, I couldn't get my VPN working from home, so I had to go to work at 12:30 a.m. to get some updates done. I just couldn't do it anymore. I went in at 12:30 a.m. and did my job well, until 9 a.m. and walked into the VP's office and said, "I'm done. I'm just done. I don't have any more in me. I don't remember the last time I slept well and my phone doesn't stop ringing." I was holding back tears at this point because I had never quit a job in anger in my life. He was nice about it and said that I should take a week's vacation starting now. I said I didn't want one and he begged me to stay. I said okay, but I'm calling you in a week and quitting again, which I did. I left without saying a word to my team or anyone. As soon as I got home, I suddenly became very sick and became very confused about who I was. I decided to go for a drive and suddenly felt like I was having a stroke. I couldn't even figure out if I had pants on. I went back home and stared at the wall for a while. After talking to a friend of mine that worked at the same company, he explained it. He laughed and said that I had PTSD, and when the stress came off, my mind couldn't handle it. He had been at the Second Battle of Fallujah, so he probably knew what he was talking about. I didn't get my SH back together for months. He was very supportive. He didn't denigrate my experience as being easier than his, which it was. He just helped me hang in there until I got my SH right. Don't ever let a company do that to you. No raises or accolades are worth losing your sense of self. It broke me. The company's now in shambles. After I left, people started leaving in droves. Apparently my no warning exit prompted an exodus. Management and non-management alike. At least I did something good with my 1.5 years of abuse. It's awful when companies push their workers to the limit like this. You made the right choice by putting your health and happiness ahead of what the company wanted. Your friends' help and advice were very helpful, and it's good to hear that you were able to find your way back. Kudos to you for taking a stand and prompting positive change, even if it came at a personal cost. Plus, what's going on in this company right now is a nice bonus. The loss of employees and eventual failures are exactly what they deserve. Hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. Have a good day.